So this is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. Please excuse the mess of my apartment. It's been kind of messy. On Shabbat I don't clean, so the apartment gets kind of messy. Just making this video because over the last, I don't know, several months, I've gotten a number of comments and email messages through YouTube about the video I have about evidence for a young Earth, the Earth being only 6,000 years old. Most of these are from atheists and evolutionists and maybe even a few liberal Christians who believe in an old Earth. And they're very upset. First of all, they're upset that I don't allow comments, and then they come onto my YouTube page or send me YouTube messages where they just pretty much call me names. And the last comment I got about a week ago was just outrageous. Told me to go kill myself. Only because I said that the Earth was 6,000 years old. So I just decided to make another video about why I believe the Earth is 6,000 years old. There is a bunch of mythology going on amongst scientists and evolutionists where they believe the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. They believe the Earth is even older than that. And that is just a bunch of nonsense. There is ample enough evidence, scientific evidence, to prove that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, which only validates the Bible, which according to the genealogical records in Genesis also shows that the Earth is about 6,000 years old. There was about 4,000 years between just notice I have a plastic little thing between in the camera lens. Gotta fix that. Anyway, there's about 4,000 years between Yah creating the universe and the Messiah first coming, and then there's been another 2,000 years since then. So there's been about 6,000 years of the Earth according to the Bible. But put the Bible aside, let's look at science. Okay, I'm going to give the 3 strongest proofs and evidences scientifically that the Bible is young, that it's only 6,000 years old. There's many more, but here are the 3 strongest. First of all, there's soft tissue within a horn of a Triceratops dinosaur. Hello, soft tissue. You can't have soft tissue in a dinosaur if the dinosaurs became extinct 65 million years ago. Soft tissue only lasts for a few thousand years. So we have found evidence of a dinosaur that was in existence only a few thousand years ago. Well, that totally destroys this theory of evolutionists that dinosaurs lived millions and millions of years ago. So there's one. The second one, the sediment up on the ocean floor. You can actually measure how much sediment is being accumulated on the bottom of the ocean floor. Even with the plate tectonics that occur with earthquakes and continental drift, that only accounts for a little bit of that sediment being removed. So even with that, if the seas and the oceans were 3.5 billion years old, as scientists believe, there would be much, much, much more sediment on the ocean floor. It would be choked with sediment. But if you measure the amount of sediment on the ocean floor right now, the oceans can be no older than 12 million years old. So that, again, another proof that the Earth is young. One of the strongest evidences that the Earth is young is the magnetic field of the Earth. I don't know if you guys have ever measured the magnetic field of the Earth before, or if you've ever studied about it, but just a brief explanation. The Earth, it's surrounded by a magnetic field that protects living things from solar radiation. Without it, life could not exist on Earth. We would get fried by the radiation from the sun. And that's why scientists were very surprised and even shocked that the magnetic field is quickly wearing down. It's decaying. In fact, at the current rate, the field and thus the Earth could be no older than 20,000 years old. Now, several measurements have confirmed this decay. In fact, measuring began, I think it was back in like 1845. And the total energy stored in the Earth's magnetic field has been decaying at a rate of 5% per every 100 years, per century. And archaeological measurements show that the field was 40% stronger in the year 1000 AD. And then there have been recent records of the International Geometric Reference Field, which is the most accurate that's ever been taken, that shows a net energy loss of 1.4% in just 3 decades. That's just from 1970 to the year 2000. So this means that the field's energy has halved every, about 1,500 years or so. Now, what creationists have done is they propose that the Earth's magnetic field is caused by a freely decaying electric current in the Earth's core. And what that means basically is that the electric current naturally loses energy or decays as it flows through the metallic core of the Earth. And though it differs from the most commonly accepted conventional models, it is consistent with our knowledge of what makes up the Earth's core. Furthermore, based on everything that we know about the properties of liquid iron and everything, this freely decaying current would have started when the Earth's outer core was formed. However, if the core were more than 20,000 years old, then the starting energy would have been, would have made the Earth too hot to be covered by water, and it would have basically prevented, life from even existing on Earth. Now, if you look at, reliable, accurate, published geological field data, and you research this subject about the magnetic field, a lot of the data has emphatically confirmed the young Earth model, that there is a freely decaying electric current in the outer core, and that's generating the magnetic field. And although this field reversed direction several times during the flood cataclysm when the outer core was stirred, the field has rapidly and continuously lost total energy ever since creation. And so it all points to an Earth and a magnetic field only about 6,000 years old. Now, a lot of evolutionists and atheists and evolutionist scientists that believe in an old Earth, what they try to say is that they believe the magnetic field must be self-sustaining. And they propose this, very complex theoretical process known as the dynamo model. But such a model actually contradicts some of the most basic laws of physics. And furthermore, their model fails to explain the modern measured electric current in the sea floor. Nor can explain the past field reversals, computer simulations notwithstanding. So, basically, to salvage their old Earth and the dynamo, they suggest that the magnetic field decay is linear rather than exponential, in spite of all the historic data and measurements and decades of experiments confirming the exponential decay. And, others have suggested that the strength of some components increases to make up for other components that are decaying, but that claim results from confusion about the difference between magnetic field intensity and its energy, and has been refuted categorically by physicists. So basically, in order for evolutionists and scientists to maintain that the Earth is old, the only way they can explain the magnetic field is by actually violating the laws of physics. That's the only way. But if you look at all the data, the empirical data that we have collected since 1845 about the magnetic field, there's no way the Earth is older than 6,000 years old. No way. So these are just 3 proofs of why the Earth has to be 6,000 years old, which is exactly what the Bible says. So atheists, agnostics, evolutionists, please stop being so stupid. Stop believing in these mythological lies and these fairy tale nonsense, and actually be scientific and read the Bible. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. The website is www.spiritandtorah.com. Shabbat Shalom.